Hi everyone, it's April 24th and I'm recording this at around 3 a.m. And I want to point out that even though it's 3 a.m. and you might think I'm an insomniac, I've been sleeping very well over the last couple of weeks. A little bit of background, I teach at a relatively new university. They opened their doors about 2 years ago and I joined relatively early. I've been using this time to write some slides for the next course. Obviously, I can do that any hour of the day, and I want to point out I've been sleeping very well. There is just one problem. I'm not sleeping every 24 hours. I've been sleeping roughly every 25, 26, 27 hours, and actually I just returned to my normal bedtime a few nights ago, and now I'm up till 3 a.m. So I feel perfectly fine when I sleep like that. The main problem is obviously how do I interact with other people, and how do I even go to the grocery store, because now with COVID-19 they've reduced their hours. But I sleep very well when I sleep like this, that's the thing. And the thing is, when I hear people talk about insomnia, I've never met an insomniac who flat out couldn't sleep. Normally it's they couldn't sleep every 24 hours. If they went to bed at 10 p.m. last night, they can't go to bed at 10 p.m. tonight. It's not they can't go to bed, period, right? I've never seen an insomnia like that. Okay, so we have a relatively large number of people with insomnia. At the same time, we also have an epidemic of people not having enough time during the day to exercise or to eat slowly, right? People eat at their desk, they eat in the car, they're not paying attention to their meals, and they eat too much, right? And then at the same time, people drive too fast on the highway because they don't give themselves enough time to make the commute, right? And then at the same time, when it's time to wake up, they have to hit the snooze button 5 or 6 times. They're not recharged in the morning. And you would think all of that could be resolved just by having our activities once every 26 hours, right? You would have more time in the day, more time to sleep. You would actually be tired when you went to bed. I almost didn't realize this until one time I had traveled back from New York to Seattle. And I remember looking at the clock, it was only 9 or 10 p.m. and I was so tired already, and I went to sleep. And when I got up in the morning, I had enough time to actually get ready before I went back to work. And I felt so good. When I got to work, I was recharged as well. I had enough time during that day to get some exercise and all that. And I didn't even realize why, because nowadays with technology, you hardly ever switch a clock, right? So I almost forgot that I had gained 3 hours. I was like, what did I do last weekend? I know I had a good time in New York. I just don't know what else I did. Oh yeah, I had 3 extra hours. That's why. It took me like a few moments to figure that out, actually. But I felt so good. Sometimes when I travel from Seattle to Taiwan, Taiwan is 8 hours before Seattle. And you would think that would be a big adjustment, but it really isn't, because I would get to Taiwan, and the first night I would sleep at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. I'd get up in the middle of the night, and Taiwan is especially Taipei, you can go out 24 hours a day. There's grocery stores open, there's things to see in the street, you know. Then the next day I'll be sleeping at 7, 8 p.m., especially if I stay in a hostel like how I did last time. I love sleeping to background conversation noises. If I'm going to bed and 2 beds over, people are talking about things they want to see in Taiwan, they're talking about their dramas back home. I love sleeping to noise like that. I don't know why. Other people might find that annoying, but I love it. So I go to sleep a little bit later the second night, and then the third night. And then by the end of the trip, I'm back to normal, and then I fly home, and then I have to make that adjustment all over, assuming I don't have something to do as soon as I get home. I get to make that adjustment all over again. So every time I go to Taiwan, that's like 2 or 3 weeks of good sleep that I get, both in Taiwan and when I get back to Seattle. One time I went to Taiwan, and then I had a conference in Taiwan, and then I had family in Taiwan that I wanted to meet up with as well, right? And then a month after the conference in Taiwan, I flew to Europe. And I felt so good during that whole month and a half. I kept making adjustments. And then I flew back to Seattle. I was making adjustments for like 2 months straight. I felt so good. It makes me rethink the concept of insomnia and why we don't have alternative time schedules, especially when so much work can be done online nowadays, as the last month and a half has demonstrated, right? I'll let you think about this, but you would think that you could start like almost tranches of people. Some people whose body loves 24-hour cycles, and some that love 26-hour cycles, and you could kind of have a jigsaw puzzle of schedules where the two groups could still have regular communication, right? I know it's thinking outside of the box, but it pays to think outside the box, right? None of these things happen overnight. So I encourage you to think about it and leave a comment if you have suggestions on how we can get from here to there, right? Thanks for watching.